Welcome to today's special Scanniversary presentation hosted by AIM, the Global Industry Alliance for Stakeholders of Barcoding, RFID, smart devices, and other automatic identification and data capture technologies. AIM has advocated for the effective use of automated data capture technologies for over 50 years, providing educational materials, standards, and networking opportunities to help create interoperability and further adoption of these key technologies. I wanted to open up by thanking our sponsors providing key insights into today's technological advancements. GS1 Global, Collimer USA, Honeywell, and Avery Dennison. Today is a very special day to AIM, our sponsors, and anyone involved in the automated data capture community. We're gathered here to commemorate a pivotal moment in history, the 50th anniversary of the first barcode scan in Troy, Ohio. Not only that, we are going to celebrate and explore just how far this industry has come from that first UPC barcode scan in 1974. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce you now to our exciting lineup of speakers who will delve into this transformative potential of RFID technology and 2D codes. We'll explore how these innovations enhance supply chain visibility, traceability, and regulatory compliance. Our experts will discuss the groundbreaking Sunrise 2027 initiative alongside successful case studies that highlight the real-world impact of advanced barcode scanning solutions. Our speakers today are Steve Ketty from GS1 Global, Renee Perry from Collimer USA, Sheila Gill of Honeywell, and Jeannie Duckett from Avery Dennison. Steve's going to start things off, so welcome and happy Scanniversary.
Thanks, Mike. And I'm really looking forward to this and working with these wonderful people that are also going to be presenting with us here. So why are we here? Well, it's the 50th anniversary of the first barcode being scanned at point of sale. But there's more to the history. You know, we were talking about from 1974 to 2024, but before that, in 71 is when everything got started. And there's more to come afterwards. We have an ambition of what's going to happen at point of sale by 2027. Here's a quick list of a few of the key items that have happened over time. I'm not going to dive into them, but let's get really into the topic that we're here for today. So back in March of 2020 is really when all of this got started. That's when an ad hoc committee of brands and retailers got together to decide how they're going to standardize the industry. And they started by determining the UPC barcode, which is now affectionately known as the Global Trade Identification Number. From that, they wanted to improve and bring automation to the point of sale systems. So the next thing they had to do is figure out which barcode we're going to use. So after a bunch of trials, it was decided that IBM's barcode, now known as the UPC-EN barcode, was then selected for the point of sale. And this brings us to June 26, 1974, when the first barcode was scanned at point of sale and in Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio. This is the spearmint gum that was scanned at that point of sale. But as they say, next 50 years starts today. So a few years ago, industry got together and said, we need to now move to a new way of scanning barcodes at point of sale because there's so many pressures upon us. So industry has agreed to an ambition of 2027 to have 2D barcodes scanned worldwide at point of sale. Why did they want to do this? Well, there's a lot of pressures happening in retail and for the brands today. There's sustainability and recycling information. There's regulatory pressures. In addition to that, an easy way to get to nutritional information in your language would be nice to have, as well as the brands would like to have a multi-purpose barcode that not only delivers the brand information and maybe recipes and allergens, but also can be used at the point of sale. This way, they can actually reduce the number of barcodes on their packaging and meet all of the requirements and the pressures that are coming from industry and consumers to supply more data. To do this, what had to happen is industry had to come together and decide what the standard was going to be for 2D barcodes and how it'll function in the global retail environment alongside today's linear barcodes, because we can't just flip the switch. In the beginning, there was just the linear barcode, but today there's already 2D barcodes on many packagings that only have a single purpose. And now that we're going to be moving to a world where there's 2D barcodes being scanned at point of sale, we need a transition period. So those 2D barcodes have to work together with the linear barcodes until 2027. So a mission-specific work group was formed on January 2022. The first thing that mission-specific work group did is determine the business requirements for the future. So this is a group that was made up of retailers, manufacturers, solution providers, and brands. These agreements were brought together and those business requirements were delivered. The industry agreements first had to decide which 2D barcodes are we going to use, what are their quality levels, how and what data structures are going to be used in these barcodes at point of sale. Next is what human readable will be around these 2D barcodes. What happens if a 2D barcode is next to the linear barcode? All those type of questions had to be dealt with in terms of the human readable. And since we are going to have a migration period, what are the rules for multiple barcodes? And on top of that, what's the placement of these 2D barcodes to meet the high-speed requirements of point of sale? And also minimize repetitive stress and injury now that we're adding these 2D barcodes. Once all that was done and the rules were all put in place, the next thing that needs to be done is what is the implementation guide? So this year in May, the implementation guide was published. And I'm going to walk you through at a high level what's in that implementation guide. And the reason it's so important is that it helps set the groundwork for what we're going to hear for the rest of the day today. So in this mission-specific work group, we actually had over 100 industry members and 45 different member organization countries, totally 270 people in that mission-specific work group. It was made up of small and large brands, solution providers, and retailers. And it was really a full global event where we had every region bringing their voices to this work for the 2D rules and for the implementation guide. But to support that, many members of the AIM community were also part of this group. There was a solution provider 2D focus group that actually got rolled up their sleeves and started working on what's the technical solution to achieve the scanning of these barcodes at point of sale. What's possible for printing? What's possible for scanning? What's possible for the host system to ingest this information? So this group got together and put a plan together on how we're going to attack this and supply information to that mission specific work group so they can make informed decisions. To achieve this, we also needed a lab. So the University of Memphis, along with the BCID TG and the TG from AIM, got together to help plan out the testing. And this testing had a series of scanners from different manufacturers, robotics, and also had print samples from every possible printing technology to be put through the scanning systems. Software was delivered in its first beta level to try and understand how the point of sale systems would scan these 2D barcodes, because until now, they only had to do it at rates of the linear barcode. And with the 2D barcode testing, extra software changes happened and things got better and better. Now we're at a very good point where the industry that has point of sale scanning has solid software to be able to do piloting and actual implementations in the real world. So the implementation guide is actually built up into multiple sections. The first 4 sections are really all about the general information that everybody needs to know in terms of to be able to scan 2D barcodes at point of sale. The next 3 sections are actually specifically built in the voice of the brand manufacturers, the retailers, and the solution providers. Brand owners actually led these the section 5, retailers led section 6, and section 7 and 8 was led by the solution provider community. When you review this document, you'll actually note that there's really a change in the voice and how things are relayed to the reader. And it's specifically done that way so that the the brand owner manufacturers is hearing it in their voice and the retailers are hearing it in their voice, so they can really relate to the answers. And of course, the solution provider section is really for the geeks. The whole document starts with talking about capable. So the first part of the equation is whether or not the systems that are currently at point of sale and the printing systems are capable of handling the 2D barcodes being scanned at it. So there's an initial audit, and then it determined whether or not it's just a simple software upgrade or something else has to happen. Next, we have to think about the compliance. Is there a regulatory compliance there? What are the barcode quality compliances that need to be done to ensure that the point of sale will actually scan these 2D barcodes without any issues? And finally, there's a whole new world of collaboration that has to happen. Because these are multi-purpose barcodes, the brand's marketing teams and other master data people and all kinds of new stakeholders are now part of this equation. So understanding who you're supposed to talk to and building that collaboration between the parties is really, really important to be successful. These are known as our 3 Cs. The implementation guide starts with, of course, which barcodes to choose. Then it gets into the different options and the placement, the size, and the quality. Next, we get into the data. Beyond the GTIN that we talked about now, there's going to be more application identifiers, so additional data that now unlocks those new use cases. And then finally, what are the syntaxes or the data strings that go into these barcodes? There's the GS1 element string, which is really for our business, and then there's the digital link URI, which really unlocks all of those use cases that we're talking about. And once you start unlocking those, now you understand how to share the data, the human readable text that might have to go around it because you have a new way of sharing that data. And what happens when you have static data or dynamic data? The 3 barcodes that were chosen to move forward are GS1 data matrix, QR code with digital link URI syntax, and data matrix with digital link URI syntax. Each one was chosen for specific reasons. The GS1 data matrix is well known and is currently used in the healthcare environment and also quite often at point of sale nowadays for fresh products. And it's really designed to be a business-to-business type application with without having any additional software updates. QR codes with digital link. Well, this is the one that can work beautifully with your phones today and also at point of sale, but it does require a software upgrade. And why, you might ask, data matrix? Well, there are cases where you're going to have really small barcodes, areas for barcodes, and data matrix is a little bit more efficient than QR codes. So all 3 were decided to move forward with. For brands, they have a choice. Do they want to use a data matrix, GS1 data matrix, or a QR code with digital link? For retailers, they have to be able to scan all 3 because brands have a choice. But no matter what, the linear barcode is still going to keep existing. It's not being deprecated because there are applications where the retailer or the brand may still want to use the linear barcodes because they don't see a need for that additional data. So the transition period is an EN-UPC with a QR code or with a data matrix. And in the future, there'll be choice. Once we get to that point where there's pervasive adoption, then the linear barcode could be dropped in favor of QR code, therefore opening up more space for the retailer and the brand in terms of their use of the 2D barcodes. So as I said, in each one of the sections, we talk about the information through the lens of the brand, the retailer, and the solution provider, whether it's the substrates and how to handle it, the use cases, and the environment, the speed that the product has to be printed at, the scanners that have to be used at point of sale, the verification that needs to happen between all of them to ensure that it helps, and also that collaboration that has to happen throughout. And this is in section 4, we give a general view of it, but in the solution provider section, we really dive deep into the printers, the constraints around the printers, and the verification. So barcode placement for brands, they have a choice of where they're going to put the barcode, but we really want them to try and put a barcode adjacent to the linear barcode for when it's the design for a point of sale use case. But so that's why we have the example here where the 2D barcode is within 50 millimeters. And why that? Well, our testing proved out that to meet the minimum items per minute, you needed to be within 50 millimeters of the center of the linear barcode. The second reason is not only the efficiency of the scanner, but also the efficiency of the associate scanning that product. Because they know where the linear barcode is now, they'll automatically orientate the product for the point of sale system. So having it in the same area makes everyone more efficient. And we also talk about, well, what if you don't want to put it there? Well, we give cautions and we talk about the possibilities of what could happen. But there's a lot of safeguards that are put into the scanning systems to avoid any issues. But we want to make sure that everybody is aware of what happens if you put the 2D barcode that is intended for scanning by the consumer next to the linear barcode or away from the linear barcode. And what about the retailers? Well, the retailers might actually have the ability to move all the way to the final state with only a linear barcode, especially when they control their environment. So if they are the ones making the cupcakes, then they could go directly to a 2D barcode, such as this QR code with the digital link. But if it is something that's coming from a supplier that can go to other suppliers, other retailers, then it has to have both barcodes on there, because you don't know whether or not the point of sale system is at that retailer is ready for the 2D barcodes. On the solution provider side, well, they have to know everything. They have to be able to consult the brand and the retailer and help them achieve their use case with the minimum amount of data. They have to know what to do when you have large packaging and what you can get away with when you have really small packaging, such as this lipstick here, when the 2D barcode might wrap all the way around so that you can't actually scan it at the point of sale. Solution providers also have to think about the constraints that they have around the printing, the scanning, and the verification. And in addition to that, how the host systems will work with that point of sale information. So the barcode quality, the encoded data structures, all get dealt with in that solution provider section to really help them be prepared for those questions when they get to the retailer. To wrap it all up, you've got the guidance in 1 to 4. Section 5 is for the brand owners. Section 6 is for the retailers, and Section 7 and 8 is for the suppliers. As we go through, you'll hear more and more from each one of the presenters how this may relate to this implementation guide. So for now, that's all for me, and you'll get a link in the chat of how to connect to this information. Well, over to you, Renee.
Thank you, Steve. That was a very informative presentation. I also wanted to thank AIM for the invitation and also thank them for being so instrumental in helping with the standards adoption and advocating for the effective use of automation data capture technologies. It all makes our life just a little bit simpler. Well, good day. I am Renee Perry from Collimer, USA. We are an all-natural, responsibly sourced, traceable sushi ingredient importer and distributor. We have global reach and we work with suppliers all over the world. Our core purpose is to enrich society through food, and that means everyone in the supply chain, from the farm workers to the vessel crews, all the way to the end consumer who will experience an enriched Japanese cultural food experience. We do adhere to people first, planet, then profit. We are a for-profit company, but we always put our people first, internal and external. And when we make decisions, we ask, how is that going to impact the planet? How is that going to impact sustainable seafood future? So our sister company, Red Shell, where it kind of all began when we were looking at a small pilot project with Avery Dennison. And because sushi has such a short life, and I mean short shelf life, one day. So we were generating significant amounts of waste. We had inaccurate prepping for forecast, and we had inaccurate inventory counts. It was a lot of paper and pencil and field operations. People were gathering information and then transferring it into the main commissary kitchen. As you can imagine, it wasn't real timely, and this kind of led to inaccurate inventory counts, poor forecasting. So let's talk about our typical warehouse process flow and where we focused our initial intention of where we could see, return on investment, where we needed to look and had full control over the processing and manage that. So our warehouses, we receive, we store, and we prep the product, all in our facility in Red Shell. And then we could control that we were going to print intelligent labels with a GS1 digital link in a QR code. And then we could deliver it to stores. We also, at the counter in the stores at the sushi area, we put in intelligent printers as well. So the sushi chefs there who received ingredients and were prepping also trays of sushi, we could capture that data as well. So we had in the original production and warehouse facility, intelligent labeling, and then we also had the ability to have that ship and receive event and then that transformation event in the store. And again, this was for us to have insight into FSMA 204 requirements at retail level. It was for insight into inventory and product movement and reduction of waste. The added benefit here in our labeling and in the use of technologies, the RFID tag provided a unique identity, which we never had before. So we didn't know what was happening with our consumer, or we couldn't even engage them. So the GS1 digital link provided this consumer engagement. And it also gave us visibility into the product and how it was moving and enabled functionality to understand the journey when it was taken off the shelf. The nutritional information could be now removed from the label, but we could still meet regulatory compliance. And it benefited us because now the labeling could be smaller and our product could be more appealing without having to cover it in our clear packaging. And then, of course, we are always in the business of delivering wholesome, safe food. And RFID technology helps with that consumer level of engagement in case there is a sickness or an outbreak. And then the last benefit, which there's multiple benefits here, we're preparing for Sunrise 2027, where we can have 2D unpack and it can be scanned at point of sale. So it was a very exciting opportunity for us to look at retail level and being able to scan across retail as a potential to exceed really the 2027 deadline, or actually we would meet, but we're looking at developing this so we could work with our customers in achieving this by 2026. So groceries and in-store use. So what did Digital Link do? It it made it possible for us to improve safety and efficiency within our store operations. Time and temperature is everything in food safety. We now know when things were put on shelves and things removed from shelves. We could flag a recall. So we can now have targeted recalls if necessary. So what does that do? Number one, it's going to potentially save consumers' lives if there's a Sakota hazard. It could potentially reduce our risk monetarily and time and brand reputation if we could have it targeted because of that unique identifier. And then it could also flag if there's counterfeit products at the point of sale. The other thing that we were not doing or managing was really discounting products nearing their expiration date. And now, again, this is another area where we could look at cost savings. So we're going to reduce our waste. We also have a better consumer experience. And I say better, this is the first time we are actually engaging our consumer at this level with a 2D barcode. And then one of the most important is the business-to-business processes for data sharing, inventory visibility, supply chain, traceability, sustainability, reduction in waste. There's just so much that we've learned through this pilot that there are benefits long after just the traceability end and the FSMA 204 and the regulatory compliance. Now we're leveraging that same QR code for the consumer engagement, for point of sale, and being able to parse a GTIN right from that QR code so it can scan across point of sale and checkout. So what was our learnings? Like I said, there was a lot of learnings in our project. And as we're on the journey through adoption of 2D barcodes, and it's very exciting. So we're moving away from paper, capturing inventory on paper. We're going to have more actionable information for our leadership, as I spoke about. Informed decision-making is key to data. We all have a lot of data, but is it usable data? Is it formatted? Is it timely? So visibility to real-time accurate inventory, identifying waste generation, and then really putting the actions in place that we can reduce that fairly immediately. We're building accurate forecast. Again, this is waste reduction. This is better purchasing, better sourcing. And it's also affects sustainability, where we want to reduce food waste. We've now have the ability to enhance consumer experience where we never had this, where we're looking at the product journey and being able to push messaging out. May it be attracting the Gen Zs and really being able to tell the story of where the farm, where the fish was harvested on a farm, where it was caught wild in the ocean, just all of those things. Looking at bycatch, if someone was real concerned about that, we can work to develop this messaging and engage our consumers so they feel satisfied, not only from the delicious food, but they can feel confident that it was caught responsibly and sustainably. The GS1 digital link, yes, that's key to enable point of sale transaction. Of course, this all was born from traceability for FSMA 204 at the retail level, since we have transformation at store. So that drove us to adopt RFID technology with the help of Avery Dennison. And now we're also building out our corporate competency with intelligent labeling and traceability, one supply link at a time. And we're enabling GS1 digital link for the G10 and the consumer experience. So our takeaways here are RFID and enabling automation and technologies are worth the investment. We have seen ROI just in the reduction of waste by 4.3%. So now over to you, Sheila Gill from Honeywell, to tell the audience more about advanced barcoding scanning solutions. Thank you.
Okay, well, good afternoon. My name's Sheila Gill, and I'm with Honeywell. And Honeywell has been shaping the future of our barcoding, and we are very excited to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the barcode. And we've been starting with the invention of our Code 39 back in 1974, and we've been following the innovations and symbologies ever since. So there's many different scanning technologies today from many different manufacturers, including Honeywell. And all of us today have the goal of extracting data quickly and correctly so that it satisfies your host applications and putting it in many formats. So let's kind of review a little bit about where we've been and where we're going. So what's driving this need for barcoding and the decoding technology? And while there are many reasons that attribute to the fact that the customer's desire for greater technologies, there are three ones that we focused on. And the first is speed. So speed is critical for all of retail as well as many other applications. But accuracy itself cannot be sacrificed for speed. Though everybody wants things if they order it today or they want it very quickly. A second contributing factor, as we all know, has been labor shortage. Labor has been a challenge for many industries, and self-checkout itself has been on the increase. And recent data has shown that self-checkout can make their checkouts to be about 20 seconds faster. But if you have scanning issues, that can cancel all the delays of your timeliness. And what happens is accuracy becomes important and it can solve many problems. But if you don't have the correct technologies, then self-service defeats itself. The third is customer experience. The customers today, just like us, we are all demanding that we have quicker service at POS, and that's become a driving force. If you look at the markets today, according to reports, the Quincy market says that the POS technology boom could hit $100 billion by the year 2032. And we are growing at a rate of around 16%. As you've heard earlier from Steve, there are many different technologies on the market today from many manufacturers. And this gives you a general idea of what Honeywell has. The focus for going forward, of course, is going to be your area images with your 1D and 2D for retail and general use. But as noted, there are still many customers that have simple 1D barcodes enabling laser scanners or linear barcodes that still are in effect today. And those technologies need to be taken into account as well. So as we look at our progress, we call our progress to Sunrise 2027. There are different categories to get to the new standards for GS1 for 2027. And today we have been able to achieve both phase 1 and phase 2 for the hardware, as well as phase 2 and the software update for Honeywell scanners. This allows us the ability to compete today for those devices. However, we are on target to support all three modes of operation for Sunrise 2027. And just for sake, I'm going to just show you, it's not an eye chart, but to give you a general overview of when we say different phases, there are different categories 1 through 7 of looking at, from the hardware perspective, where we need to be. And the completion has been today for all these devices for phase 1 and 2, but phase 3 through 7 we have in development and they're working on, and our goal is to achieve them on or before we hit the Sunrise 2027. So in conclusion, we want to take a look at Honeywell and barcoding in general, from the humble beginnings, as noted, from simply scanning a pack of chewing gum to augmented reality to artificial intelligence. The barcoding itself has been a huge silent conversion from all of the data going forward for consumers. And our goal is to drive forward to keep that conversation going and developing those methodologies that allow the consumer as well as and the manufacturer to say, hey, these technologies are going to be available today and looking forward to 2027 and beyond. And again, any questions on products or anything that you need that fits your requirements, please take a look at the links. And that's it. And thank you for attending. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name's Jeannie Duckett, and I work for the Avery Dennison Corporation. I work in the development of traceability technology and standards from source to consumer. Avery Dennison is a global materials science company and digital identification solutions that provides branding and informational labeling solutions and functional materials for home, personal care, apparel, food, grocery, pharmaceuticals, and many other industries. But what a lot of people probably don't realize is that Avery Dennison was also part of the Uniform Grocery Code Council, which predated the GS1. And 50 years ago, Avery Dennison was working with other industry partners to work on the initial scanning of the UPCA barcode. And today we're very excited to talk about the next step. Before we get into the 2D scanning, we want to talk a little bit about intelligent labeling in the food supply chain. RFID has, for the last 20 years, been key in the apparel industry to drive efficiencies for in-store inventory, supply chain accuracy, and other supply chain benefits. In the last 4 or 5 years, it started migrating into the food supply chain. And today it's at use at the point of source, processing, distribution, point of retail, and in the future, we're looking at it to be used in the home for intelligent appliances. So what does RFID bring to the industry for the food supply chain? Dr. Hargraves probably said it best. He's an industry expert that has worked alongside major retailers for the last 20 years in developing the RFID industry in the United States. RFID increases inventory accuracy from an average of about 65% to more than 95%. And high inventory accuracy can lead to increased sales, but only if retailers and brands use the data to improve their operations and processes. This is very important and it's key to the success of intelligent labeling. Implementing RFID in the supply chain can see the following advantages. Manufacturers and distributors can see an 80% improvement in shipping and picking accuracy. Manufacturers and distributors can see a 90% improvement in receive time. By automating your receive processes with RFID, the time and energy for receiving and inventory counts goes down significantly. And so therefore the costs with these functions go down. Manually inputting data and scanning barcodes, as you see on the screen, is a major time sink. RFID alleviates these constraints while improving inventory and receiving accuracy. Warehouses and DCs that make their inventory visible and available see a 2 to 20% improvement in the amount of inventory on hand, reduction of inventory on hand when implementing RFID. And as you see on the screen, implementing RFID for in-store inventory counts can take you to 99% accuracy in a very brief amount of time. So what's the impact on the food industry with this? About 2 years ago, I was with Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Agriculture, and he was talking about concerns of digitization on the food supply chain. And you see on the screen a chart that's actually out on the USDA website And he was talking about that the individual participants in the food supply chain don't actually reap a lot of benefits, and their profit margins are very thin. And he was concerned that if we implement digitization, it would have a negative impact on the survivability of these businesses. One of the things I raised my hand and I pointed out that today there's around 35 to 40% waste in the food supply chain. And this food waste has a huge impact on profitability at all sections of the supply chain, from source to retail. And with the improved inventory accuracy and inventory visibility, building out the connected supply chain, you can actually improve profitability of companies. And we have seen this time and time again in the industry. So we move on to what we're here to talk about today, the integration of RAIN RFID with 2D barcodes. So Red Shell Sushi, who you heard from earlier, is conducting a proof of concept to enhance traceability and compliance with FSMA 204 regulations by implementing a dual RFID 2D GS1 digital link smart label similar to the one you see on the screen. This initiative, in partnership with Avery Dennison, is focusing on monitoring inventory within retail groceries and improving this inventory visibility and inventory accuracy at the point of use. The key benefits that we're realizing out of this is by leveraging AD software digital stack, Red Shell Sushi is implementing intelligent labeling for the real-time tracking of products from production to retail floor. And this yields lots of key benefits, such as the automatic collection of key data elements required for FSMA 204 and other regulations. But more importantly, it's indicating what products are being overproduced and what products are being underproduced. That enables Red Shell to deploy their assets to increase efficiencies. Also on this intelligent label is the GS1 digital link, as you see on the screen. Every RFID label has the GS1 digital link and a QR code that provides consumers with access to detailed product information, nutrition facts, and brand stories, connecting the consumer with Gelson's, the retailer, or with Red Shell, the vendor. This integration also meets the Sunrise 2027 requirements, which Steve Ketty was talking about earlier, enabling 2D barcodes to be scanned across point of sale. This consumer connection drives an ability to understand what consumers like and don't like about their products to a much greater degree than what's been seen before. And the simple collection of the seamless collection of FSMA 204 key data elements and critical tracking events enables Red Shell to move towards FSMA 204 compliance in a way that improves their operational efficiencies. Now on the screen, you see the spicy tuna roll label, which appears on a Red Shell product. This label is printed at the Red Shell facility and then sent to retail grocery, where that real-time inventory is maintained by the sushi counter staff. But what we're celebrating here on Scanniversary is the simplicity of going from that, having that label, which provided benefit to Red Shell by providing the consumer with nutrition facts and connecting the brand to the consumer. Also, now what you see is getting that 2D symbol across point of sale. We simply extract the G10 out of the GS1 digital link string and forward that to the POS, requiring no back office changes at this time for implementing 2D across point of sale. The benefits of this are very large. This allows retailers to implement and meet the Sunrise 2027 date while evaluating the best way to upgrade and modify their back office solutions. So the initial implementation of scanning 2D symbols across point of sale, whether it's a QR code or a data matrix, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to upgrade the back of office systems. So let's bring this all together. When you combine 2D barcodes with RAIN RFID, You gain that supply chain efficiencies that I was discussing earlier. You build that consumer connection and real-time inventory awareness. And also, what we're here today talking about, you enable the system to meet the Sunrise 2027 objectives, the power of scanning 2D barcodes across point of sale. The GS1 Digital Link barcode transforms barcodes and other data carriers into web-enabled links, connecting that product's unique identity to real-time online systems, giving the brand the ability to connect with the consumer and provide them real-time information, couponing, recipe advice. In that POS integration, once you move beyond just extracting the G10 out of that GS1 digital link, you can start unlocking additional capabilities such as doing dynamic pricing at point of sale. You can also unlock abilities to predict return and gray market issues in your supply chain. So you gain this full chain visibility when you combine intelligent labeling with 2D barcodes. You have that supply chain visibility, that accurate inventory management, the consumer engagement, and that scanning of the 2D barcode across point of sales. Consumers connected to the internet networks through their smartphones or devices are informed in real time about these products and services. And they have a positive influence on brands by influence on their social networking and represents opportunities for brands to extend their reach.
Thank you all for joining us today for this insightful exploration into the transformative power of scanning 2D barcodes across differing environments. As we've seen, this technology brings a multitude of benefits to various stakeholders. For retailers, it offers enhanced inventory accuracy, on-shelf availability insights, simplified returns, and process automation, all while ensuring first-in, first-out maintenance and optimizing the value chain. Regulators benefit from improved traceability, supply chain visibility, and consumer trust through interoperable solutions, ensuring robust chain of custody and transparent product journeys. Consumers enjoy increased product authentication, access to sourcing information, and expanded visibility into the supply chain. This fosters trust and confidence with identified chain of custody and illuminates the product's journey. Brands uphold their integrity with effective counterfeit prevention, avoidance of expired or recalled products, and the ability to share critical allergen and dietary information, thereby mitigating risks. I'd like to extend a very big thank you once again to our presenters and sponsors. Thank you to GS1 Global, Avery Dennison, Collamer USA, and Honeywell for showcasing their pivotal roles in scanning technologies. Thank you to Steve Ketty, Renee Perry, Sheila Gill, and Jeannie Duckett for your insights. If you want to contact our speakers, their information will be on the screen right now. Today marks not only a technological milestone, but also celebrates AIM and our members' ongoing commitment to driving innovation and interoperability globally across industries. To delve deeper into the history of AIM and AIDC, visit the timeline link below for images and videos showcasing pivotal industry moments. For further insights into automated data capture technologies, reach out to AIM at the contact information on the screen now to learn more about our initiatives. Thank you for joining us, and we eagerly anticipate the advancements in scanning technologies as we look forward to the next June 26th. Working together, we can continue to shape the future of scanning solutions.